Picture this. You meet a stunningly attractive woman who hangs on your every word, showers you with affection, mind-blowing sex and attention like you've never experienced before. It's the kind of attention that feels like you hit the jackpot as a man. It feels too good to be true, and guess what? It often is. This phenomenon has a name. It's called love bombing, and it's a dangerous place to be in. But here's the twist. Love bombing, often interpreted as a seductive technique used for romance, was originally a technique used by cult leaders for recruiting and grooming. It's a strategy that is wielded by narcissists, psychopaths, emotional predators, and even pedophiles. Imagine being drawn by a woman who intentionally misrepresents herself, her true nature, constantly lies to you, all the while showering you with infatuation. You suddenly become dependent on her for your value and self-esteem. And suddenly, that's when the bait and switch occurs. Female narcissists identify your deepest needs and desires and will listen to your every word. She may even pressure you to open your heart and let your guard down with her seductive charm. Understand this is a ploy and part of the grooming process and will be used against you later on. In the end, many narcissists, psychopaths, and emotional predators follow a predictable three-stage pattern in their relationships. First, the idealization phase. This is where the love bombing begins. During this phase, your partner bombards you with excessive love and affection to draw you in and convinces you to let your guard down. The overall goal of the idealization phase is to seduce you so you fall in love and want them, not the other way around. During this stage, you as a man are elevated to godlike status. In her eyes, you can do no wrong. You stand apart from any other man she has ever met, emphasizing that you are better, kinder, smarter, and more talented than any of her previous partners. She will work to convince you that only you can truly understand her pain and her feeling of being misunderstood. You will be portrayed as the hero or a godsend. In her eyes, all her past lovers could never measure up to you. The devaluation phase. Once you begin to let your guard down and become more comfortable with the female narcissist, you may begin to notice red flags, if they have not already appeared. The female narcissist may try to control you in many ways. She may try to control who you can talk to, may try to limit access to your friends or family, and if you have female friends, she will show fits of jealousy and want you to cut off all communication with them. She will gaslight you into thinking nothing is wrong with her behavior. You soon will begin to realize who she says she is and what she does are two completely different things. The discard phase. If you have a backbone as a man, you may try to reset healthy boundaries or hold her accountable for her poor behavior. This is where the female narcissist will not only refuse to cooperate, but she will also avoid any accountability and abandon the relationship. This is done on purpose with the intention to leave you confused and questioning yourself like you somehow failed the relationship and failed to fix things. High-functioning female narcissists can be particularly adept at their manipulative tactics, especially if they possess a deep understanding of psychology or work in the mental health field. For example, one of the worst-case scenarios you can face is being in a relationship with a female narcissist who is also a psychotherapist. Their knowledge and awareness of emotional dynamics can make them more skillful at targeting and grooming their victims. It is crucial to regard such individuals as potentially dangerous, as their calculated actions may indicate psychopathic traits. Recognizing the signs and being cautious when encountering individuals who display manipulative behaviors, regardless of their profession or social status, is an essential step to protecting oneself. While they may appear attentive to your interests and who you are as a person, they're actually dissecting you, seeking weaknesses and vulnerabilities that can be used as a weapon to control and devalue you later. For instance, say you are a man who has erectile dysfunction, or you are experiencing temporary financial hardship due to a large amount of medical bills. Sharing these vulnerabilities with your partner and being open and honest upfront is healthy and normal. During the idealization phase, your willingness to be open and vulnerable as a man will be embraced and radically accepted by the female narcissist as she will pretend to support you, love you for who you are, and is non-judgmental. This is all a farce. Because when you reach the discard devalue phase, those vulnerabilities will be the reason she abruptly abandons the relationship for another man or other men. So what signs should you look for to determine if you are being love bombed? Number 1, she rushes the relationship. Love bombers tend to accelerate the pace of the relationship, saying they love you within the first few months of knowing them. In reality, a healthy, emotionally stable woman wouldn't know enough about you to make such declarations. Some love bombers might introduce you quickly to their close friends, family members, and children within a few weeks. So why this sense of urgency? The underlying motivation is deeply rooted in the fact that it's challenging to maintain a false persona for an extended period of time. In other words, it takes hard work to pretend to be something you are not. Narcissists and predators can only wear a mask and play a fake role for so long. Therefore, love bombers aim to expedite the relationship's progress to secure your attachment. Typically, after they have legally bound you through marriage, shared property, business, have children, their true nature is revealed, and then the mask comes off. Number 2, constant demand of your attention. A love bomber aims to make you more dependent on her for comfort, time, energy, and emotional support. She may use ultimatums pushing you to choose between her and others. Falling into this trap can leave you drained. Love bombers crave spending nearly every waking minute with you, particularly during the idealization phase. They require an extreme amount of attention and will be disappointed if you cannot accommodate. For instance, they may guilt trip you for not calling them enough throughout the day, or not liking all of her Instagram stories and social media posts. Never mind the fact that you may have had a busy week due to pressing matters. None of these things matter to the female narcissist because she expects you to be her conjoined twin. Please understand that this extreme clingy behavior is not a sign that she loves you and just wants you so bad. Don't let your ego convince you otherwise. Emotionally stable and mature women can handle time apart. In fact, it's a strong indicator of a healthy relationship. The one thing that female predators, frauds, con artists, narcissists, and the ilk do not understand is that we all love at different paces in life. Real love and true intimacy requires time to build and grow, time that the female narcissist does not have. Failure to reciprocate her never-ending constant demand of attention will only accelerate the devaluing process. Seriously, watch carefully how she responds when you begin to pull back for your own sanity and mental health. She may guilt trip you or shame you for not putting in enough effort into the relationship, or say that you do not love her as much as she loves you, and that she deserves someone who loves her the way she's supposed to be loved. Again, more nonsense. The constant demand for attention and you giving in will cause you to feel overwhelmed and off balance. This is deliberate and designed to erode your boundaries. Experts suggest narcissists and borderlines monopolize your time due to a fear of abandonment and pathological loneliness. Number 3, she can't take no for an answer. No means no in every circumstance, regardless of the gender. But if you tell a love bomber you're not okay with their behavior, or you try to set up boundaries, they'll become argumentative, question your line of thinking, or guilt trip you into believing that you do not love them enough. Telling a woman no should not warrant being shamed or guilt tripped into doing what she wants. If a woman crosses one or multiple boundaries, then this means your voice is not being heard, yet alone respected. Number 4, she plays the victim. This is one of the most powerful and strongest signs that you are dealing with a female narcissist. This is a common tactic used by covert narcissists. She has lots of stories of victimhood. Stories such as how all her exes were bad guys and they did not love her enough. She may say her ex-boyfriends did not give her enough sex, affection, or attention. For bonus points, she may go as far as to state that her ex is a narcissist, when she most likely does not know or understand pathological narcissism. You should be wary of any woman who claims all her ex-boyfriends were narcissists. The truth is actually the opposite. She is likely the covert narcissist, and her ex-boyfriends were most likely codependents or decent men who did not put up with her crazy behavior and got discarded because of it. She may tell you stories of how her ex just won't leave her alone. If you ask her why, she will likely conjure up a made-up story that makes her look like an innocent damsel in distress. Again, a victim. Personally, I link this love bombing tactic to female narcissism. Why? Because the purpose of playing the victim is to tap into your natural male instincts to protect her. Little do you know, you are not protecting her, but you are protecting her poor and self-destructive decisions. For example, remember the ex-boyfriend that just won't leave her alone? May have an actual valid reason for not leaving her alone. For all you know, she may have stolen money from him, got the man into legal troubles, or cheated on her last boyfriend, gave him an STD, then ghosted him afterwards. Maybe she is lying to you and currently is still in a relationship with her so-called ex-boyfriend. I cannot tell you how many times I personally have met women who had boyfriends and told me that they were exes, crazy exes. Not only does this cause emotional harm to the real boyfriend, but it creates potential harm for the new guy who is unaware of the female narcissist manipulative and triangulation techniques. Always remember there are two sides to every story. Now, do not misconstrue what I am saying. In some cases, it's possible that her exes are truly horrible people. But even then, that too is a red flag, because now you have to ask yourself, why is she constantly picking these awful men? Whenever the female narcissist bashes her exes and shares personal information about them to you in order to garner some form of sympathy is not only a red flag and reflects poorly in her character, but it's also done to give you a false sense of superiority over her exes. This is designed to make you into her superhero. Depending on how much of your ego dominates your life, you may feel very good about yourself because you come off as her savior. Female narcissists can sink to unfathomable depths that rival the ninth circle of Dante's Inferno, creating elaborate sob stories that portray themselves as helpless victims. I've even witnessed them exploit the tragedy of a deceased partner to elicit sympathy and paint themselves as survivors. It's shocking and, quite frankly, disgusting how low these types of women can go. If you meet someone and you find yourself being the white knight, the rescuer, or the knight in shining armor, understand you are being manipulated and conned. Narcissists and other emotionally abusive people often, but not always, claim to have been victimized by their exes, friends, and families of origin. Maybe it's true, maybe it's not. You'll probably never know for certain. Even if they truly were abused by their family members, it does not excuse this love bombing behavior. In the end, you may fall into the illusion of being her hero, her knight, the one who surpasses all her previous partners. Yet the harsh reality is you are a male codependent grappling with insecurities, lack of self-love, and self-worth that is deeply rooted in unresolved childhood trauma. Your belief that playing the role of her savior grants you purpose for once because you never felt valued or needed as a man. Again, this issue is common amongst men who were not valued or seen during childhood. Nothing will make you feel more valuable by becoming her knight in shining armor. The female narcissist is well aware of this. Do not fall for it. Number 5, intense sexual desire, also known as sex bombing. Love bombing can include lots of sex. We're talking about sex in the car, sex in public places, coming to her house on the first time, meeting her and having lots of sex, anything that shows extreme lust and promiscuity. This can inflict harm upon men in multiple ways. It poses a physical risk as her recklessness increases the likelihood of transmitting STDs. It could lead to unwanted pregnancies. Furthermore, it fosters emotional dependency and creates unhealthy soul connections. Female predators who use sex to manipulate are transactional. Female narcissists will use sex as a form of manipulation to lure you in. And if the sex isn't the greatest, she may tell on herself that she is a manipulator with the following phrases. Phrases such as, again, understand that you are not the first man to hear any of these phrases. No matter what she says, you are not the first. The number one weapon female predators and narcissists have in their arsenal is what's between their legs. Practice self-control, do not give in to lust, and if you can master your sexual urges as a man, the female narcissist will lose a heavy weapon in her arsenal. Seriously, it would be like the equivalent of the Baltimore Ravens not having Mark Andrews and Lamar Jackson for the whole season. This is a love bombing tactic, possibly the strongest love bombing tactic a female narcissist or predator can use on a man. Don't be a fool and think all of this intense sex that you are having is a form of intimacy, love, and makes you the special one for her. You do not go from having sex with a woman in the bathroom on the first date because you are the perfect man. Wake up. Whatever sexual activities that occurred with this female narcissist are the same things she has done with her previous exes. Number 6, future faking. Narcissists have a knack for prematurely discussing serious commitments like marriage, moving in together, and children. If she is a single mother, she may want to introduce you to her children prematurely, often long before any reasonable person would consider such significant steps. For those who are prone to codependency, encountering a woman who seems to think you're so special enough to consider huge commitments so quickly, can set your heart on fire along with your judgment, logic, common sense, and reason. Early and intense talks about your future together, just like sex bombing, is a manipulation tactic, and you are not the first man she has said these things to. For instance, a female narcissist might initially paint you as the perfect match, emotionally mature, and envision a life together with the family. Yet a few months later, she discards you for a new source of male supply, who is likely hearing the very same lines you once heard. Sometimes you can't help but wonder if these narcissists are reading from a script. Number 7, splitting and Oneitis. Splitting is a mental health term used to describe the coping mechanism that sees people in extremes of all good or all bad. Splitting is something that is common amongst personality disordered people. According to experts, personality disordered people like narcissists tend to excessively use words like love, hate, forever, soulmate, or the new term that is used amongst the New Age community, twin flames. These are all terms that they use without any care in the world as to what they really mean because they lack understanding. The splitting itself is not a love bombing tactic, but what is a form of love bombing is Oneitis. Oneitis in this context is when the female narcissist refers to you as the one, the soulmate, the twin flame, or whatever term her social media memes told her to use. If you are a man who values words of affirmation as a love language, this one can wreck you hard mentally, because during the idealization phase, the female predator will call you her soulmate, her twin flame. She may even say that the universe brought us together and we are in full alignment, whatever the hell that means. But during the discard phase, you will be considered a horrible boyfriend, a narcissist. Suddenly, your value system no longer aligns, and now she hates you. She loves you one day, hates you the last day, soulmates one day, butthole the next day. This is why you will often hear female narcissists talk about having a new soulmate every 4 months. It's almost as if the female narcissist replaced soulmates on a quarterly system. When she says you are the one, don't believe her. Just like the previous love bombing, you are not the first man she has said this to. I repeat, you are not the first man she has said this to. So when she says you are the one, you are probably the 5th or the 8th or the 12th. Either way, it's way past the total sum of 1. Love bombing is not sustainable for a lasting relationship. It's a distorted, nightmarish version of the honeymoon phase. This manipulative tactic can take a toll on your mental health. When you are abandoned and discarded by the female narcissist, it may unearth old childhood wounds, leaving you feeling worthless and inadequate. Sudden feelings of not being good enough, beating yourself up, and trying to find ways to get back to the state of euphoria you experienced during the idealization phase. You may say to yourself as a man, if I only had more money, if I only had more looks, better finances, better fashion, more status, or whatever else you delude yourself into believing. Whereas the truth is, there's nothing wrong with you. Love bombing's purpose is to create psychological and emotional dependency. It's designed to exploit your unfulfilled needs and desires. You may even delude yourself into thinking the real person is the one who initially showered you with affection, intense sex, and admiration, while the abusive, erratic, emotionally immature person who lacks accountability is an anomaly. However, reality flips this narrative. You truly see the person behind the mask, but only when they discard you and abandon the relationship. There are multiple ways to prevent and stop becoming a target for love bombing. Watch for the signs mentioned above and establish firm boundaries. It's important to note that displaying one or two of these signs does not necessarily label someone as a female narcissist. However, if you notice a recurring pattern involving multiple signs, a swift exit without hesitation is your best course of action. Men, you have to understand that you cannot fix a female narcissist. What you can do is focus on your own growth, self-love as a man, and above all, get out. If you found this video helpful, please like and subscribe. In the future, I'll continue to explore how men can empower themselves and heal, ensuring they no longer attract these types of damaging women into their lives.